What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. And today, just adjust the camera a little bit, sorry. I'm back with another video for you guys. It's Thursday, which means it is prediction time, week 12 predictions. There are 2 weeks left in the college football season. How exciting is that, right? 2 weeks left. There are a lot of massive games still left to be played. A couple of them come this week. You're going to see a lot of huge matchups next week as well. But this week is full of some very important games for the college football landscape, for the playoff landscape, and just college football in general. This week should be a lot of fun. And you're going to get my opinions on what I think, my personal opinion on the top 10 games this week. So if you guys enjoy this video, you're new to the channel, you just like me, you like, I don't know, you like what I put out, please like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, ring the bell, anything you can, help support the channel, really does mean a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some week 12 predictions here. Again, this is just the list of games that I think are going to be the best games to watch this week, the games that are going to have the most value in terms of playoff aspirations. And if there's a game that you want to see me preview that's not on this list, please leave it in the comment section down below. All right. We're going to start off with a monster game, the biggest game of the week. Number 7, Michigan State is going to take on their toughest task yet. They're going to travel to Columbus to face number 4, the Ohio State Buckeyes. All times you see are in Eastern Standard Time, and all lines and odds are, as of recording this video, they are subject to change. This is the noon game on ABC. College game day is going to be here. It's going to be a very fun atmosphere. The Buckeyes are coming off a win against Purdue, a team that Michigan State has lost to this season, but Michigan State is coming off a 19-point win against Maryland. And coincidentally, that's the underdog line here. Ohio State favored by 19, which I think is too high. As you guys know, I am an Ohio State fan, but that number is just too high. Michigan State's a better team than that, but Ohio State has been playing better throughout the majority of the season. Arguably, you could say that. So we'll see, right? Over under 68.5. I'm interested in a couple of matchups, especially the running back battle here. Kenneth Walker, who's really lit it up this year, and Travion Henderson might be the best freshman running back in the entire nation. You could throw Lou Nichols in there as well, but the running back battle should be interesting to watch, especially against the both these teams' rushing defenses. Ohio State has a better rush defense than Michigan State, but it's still going to be interesting to watch to see how both of these backs run the ball. And if Michigan State's going to want to win this game, because we know Ohio State's offense can score. Look at the third bullet point there. The Spartans' defense is going to have to step up, play a really good game in this one if they want to walk out of Columbus. But the offense also has to score, and they're going to have to take advantage of this Ohio State secondary that is still a work in progress, that's still young. With Jaden Reed and Jalen Naylor coming in. Now, Naylor, don't know if he's going to play in this game. Odds are he probably does. And if that's the case, hey, you throw in a guy like Cameron Hayward too. Really, really fantastic receiving core for Michigan State. They're going to need to take advantage of the young Buckeye secondary, but I just do not think that Michigan State is going to be able to score with the Buckeyes. I think Ohio State's defense even makes a couple of important stops, and I think that the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to walk away from this one with a 42-31 win. Again, don't pay attention to the actual scores. Pay attention to the margin of victory and who I have winning. I have Ohio State winning this game by 11. I think they pull away late. Michigan State makes it close. What a fun one this is going to be in Columbus. A great way to kick off the college football Saturday. I absolutely can't wait to watch this one as an Ohio State fan, as a college football fan. This one should be fun, but I do think the Buckeyes are going to win it. And if Michigan takes care of business against Maryland, which I believe they will as well, that sets up the game for the winner of the Big Ten East would be the winner of that game. That's going to be massive. But this one, got to play this one first. Should be interesting. I have the Buckeyes winning it. All right, Wake Forest can clinch the division this week, but they have to get through a hard battle with Clemson. This is going to be by far the toughest defense that Wake Forest has faced all season, but we'll get to that. So Clemson's the 4.5-point favorite. This is the noon game on ESPN where you can find this one. But Sam Hartman has played fantastic this year, but the Tigers' defensive front seven, like I just mentioned, is going to be the best that Hartman and company have faced all year long, period, end of story. But the Tigers' defense, or the Tigers' offense has been struggling throughout the year. but the Deacs defense has been struggling this year as well. So interesting to watch that side of the ball. Is Clemson going to be able to score enough with Wake Forest? Is Clemson going to come back? Is this Clemson's big game to jump back into the top 25 poll? You'll get my prediction here in a little bit. But when Wake Forest, and this is going to lead to my prediction, when Wake Forest plays good defenses, they played Syracuse, which I believe is the number 2 defense in the ACC right now. Statistically, they put 40 on them. NC State, a really good defense in and of itself. They hung 45. And I don't think Wake Forest is going to hang that many points against Clemson. But I just think with the combination of Wake Forest's really good offense and Clemson's just lackluster offense, I think Wake Forest is going to walk away from this game with the win, get their 10th win of the year, and clinch the division and move on to the ACC championship game. Now, if Clemson does win this game, there's still a path for them to get to the championship game, but then they would need Wake Forest to lose the following week as well, which, again, at Boston College probably could happen. But Clemson, a win here would be huge for their season, but a win here for Wake Forest would be even greater. They clinch the division with the win here, and I think that's what they do. The Deacons get the win. Iowa State and Oklahoma, this game is not going to have as high of stakes as it would have had in the early season, but it's an important game nonetheless, especially for Oklahoma, as they dropped all the way to 13th in the latest college football playoff poll. This game is the noon game on Fox. This is the big noon kickoff game. 3.5 is the line here in which Oklahoma is favored. Oklahoma has still yet to play a complete game. Can they do it in this one? Again, the reason the committee had them at 8 is because, yes, while they rewarded them by being, they didn't necessarily reward them by being undefeated, but they put them at 8 because they haven't played a great game on both sides of the ball collectively, like same game. When the offense plays well, the defense plays and when the offense plays the defense steps up and plays well. That's how Oklahoma's been kind of slugging through the season. So a complete game performance here is going to be huge for Oklahoma, and they're really going to need it. But Breece Hall versus the Sooners rush defense. The Sooners rush defense is not bad, but in recent memory, Breece Hall has had really good performances against the Oklahoma Sooners. In fact, in his last 2 performances, both of them being last year, of course, the one in the regular season, the one in the Big 12 championship game, he's had 2 touchdowns in each of those games. So interesting battle to watch there. But I think quarterback play is going to be huge here. You have Brock Purdy on one side for Iowa State. And then at this point, who knows? Could it be Caleb Williams? Will Spencer Rattler get back into the starting role as well? No Oklahoma quarterback is going to win the Heisman this year. But having both of them on your side is definitely a weapon that you would like to have. So quarterback play, I think, is going to be huge. Whichever quarterback, and again, no matter who starts, I think between Williams and Rattler, they're going to have to play well. Oklahoma seemingly has the better weapons here as well, and statistically and historically over the past 5 years, they've struggled with this Iowa State team. They have struggled, but this year, Iowa State has not lived up to expectations. I think this one's going to be a hard-fought, really close game, very reminiscent of the Big 12 championship game last year. But I do think Oklahoma is going to pull away and win this one. I think Oklahoma needs a win. And I think Lincoln Riley knows that. I think the team knows that. And I think they're going to string together a win here, building some momentum before a very, very important game next week in Bedlam against Oklahoma State. So I have Oklahoma winning this one here against Iowa State. I see this one being pretty close, though. Can't wait to watch this one. This one should be a lot of fun. All right, moving into games being played at 3:30 now. This game is 3:30 on CBS. Bama's the 21-point favorite against the Arkansas Razorbacks. An interesting ranked SEC matchup here. Now, the last time we saw Bama against an SEC opponent, it was against at LSU, and while they won the game, they struggled. They really did struggle, and the game was in Tuscaloosa, so still really struggled in that game, especially running the ball. They only had 6 rushing yards against LSU, and that is a cause for concern if you are an Alabama fan, because Arkansas does not give up a lot running the football. They have a great rush defense, ever since getting burned by Ole Miss in that epic shootout game. Arkansas has not given up more than, I believe, 130 something yards, something like that. They've been really good on rush defense as of late. Bama's got to be able to run the football if they want to win this game. And Bryce Young versus the Razorbacks. So Bama can't lose this game. Let's look at the third bullet point. They can't lose, because I think even if they lose and then still go on to win the SEC, I think they're done. I don't think they will get into the college football playoff unless some chaos happens, right? But Bryce Young versus the Razorbacks defensive backs, Jalen Catalong and company are some very, very good defensive backs. And Bryce Young, over the past couple games, has looked kind of rattled, minus the New Mexico State game. That was New Mexico State, doesn't count. Against the last couple SEC games he's played, he's looked rattled. He hasn't really looked fantastic. He still put up good numbers, but he hasn't looked the best. So Bryce Young got to be able to sling it against the Razorbacks secondary here in this one, but he has the guys to do it. Mechie, Williams, among others. And I think Bama goes ahead and wins this game. I think Bryce Young is going to get a lot of the load here in this game, but I also think Brian Robinson and company are going to be able to bounce back in that backfield for Alabama, and I think they win this one by 14. 38-24 is my final score prediction. Doesn't necessarily mean anything in the SEC standing stake, although what it would mean if Alabama were to lose this game is probably their playoff hopes are done. So Bama can't lose this game. We'll see what happens in this one, but I'm predicting the Tide to roll in this one. SMU and Cincinnati. Not as high of a stakes as it would have had a couple weeks ago before SMU lost the game, but they are going to give Cincinnati a test. And Cincinnati can clinch the ACC championship can clinch a berth in the ACC championship with a win. They don't clinch the title. You still have to play the title game, but they can clinch a spot in the title game if they win this one here. The 5th ranked team in the nation, the first team on the outside looking in, and they absolutely can still get into the playoff. 3:30 game on ESPN. Cincinnati's the 11.5-point favorite. Again, can Cincinnati come up with a massive win here? This is by far, besides Notre Dame, the best team that this is the best team that Cincinnati has played since Notre Dame by a long shot. And more likely than not, they're going to get a chance to play Houston in the American Athletic Championship game, a team that the committee now has ranked, and I don't see losing another game from here on out. But again, if Cincinnati loses the game, they're done. But this is a very even matchup on paper. When you look, both of these teams pose very similar stats. They like to throw, they like to run, they like to mix it up. Both these defenses are pretty solid as well. And both these teams in their past couple of games have gotten off to some slow starts. SMU got off to a slow start against Navy, got off to some slow starts here in past games as well. But both these teams play well last week. SMU against UCF and Cincinnati against South Florida. But I think the Mustangs are going to come out here. They're going to start fast. And I think the Mustangs are going to get the lead in this game. And we're going to say, oh, here we go. This is Cincinnati's first loss. See what happens when they play someone actually good. I think Cincinnati's going to be able to come back and win this game here. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be close. 37-31 is my final score prediction. And I think this is going to be a huge win for Cincinnati. I know the committee does not have SMU ranked, and I know the committee might think right now that this is not as huge of a win as it probably should feel. But in my opinion, this is going to feel like a huge victory for Cincinnati. Then they go on the road to play East Carolina the next week before the American Athletic Championship game. And I think they clinch a berth in that game with a win right here. All right, Nebraska is going to hope to, just sort of gain some momentum for 2022 as they're going to take on the 15th ranked Badgers in Madison. 3:30 on ABC is where you can find this one. Wisconsin is the 9.5-point favorite, and they're starting to find their offensive rhythm. Graham Mertz is starting to play better. Even with Ches Malusi out for the season, guys like Braylon Allen are taking over, and they're playing some really, really good football right now. And the Huskers right now are playing with no expectations, none whatsoever. They fired so many assistant coaches on the offensive side. Nebraska is just going to hope to gain momentum, sort of play for their coach right now, play for Scott Frost, just get some wins, get something in the win column, because no matter what this season, probably going to be looked at as a disappointment for Nebraska. They're not even going to make it to a bowl game, but this Nebraska team has the talent to compete with a team like Wisconsin. They just haven't shown it this year. They're playing with no expectations. I expect Nebraska to play like the Nebraska that has played so many close games against so many good opponents this year. And both these teams' rushing attacks are going to be interesting. I've already mentioned Braylon Allen over at Wisconsin. Nebraska hasn't really gotten to run the ball as well as they probably should have been able to with the guys that they have back there. Again, they've also been dealing with some injury problems, but that's an interesting battle to watch, especially Nebraska's rush defense. That is something to watch here as well. But I do think Wisconsin gets this win. I think Nebraska's competitive, but Wisconsin pulls away towards the end. 28-17 is my final score. It's been a disappointing year for the Huskers, and things are starting to look up for Wisconsin. They can clinch the Big Ten West if they win this game, which I think they will, and Iowa and Minnesota both lose. That is going to be something to watch there, but I have Wisconsin winning this game in Madison. And Virginia-Pittsburgh, they're going to battle in a contest for the ACC Coastal Division lead. This is the 3:30 game on ESPN2. 14.5 is the line here. Pittsburgh is the favorite. And Bronco Mendenhall has come out and said he is hopeful that Brennan Armstrong plays. Again, he did not play in the Notre Dame game, and Virginia got ran out of their own building. But this game here, if Brennan Armstrong plays, what a fun battle this is going to be. I'm under the assumption that Brennan Armstrong is going to play. One of the best quarterbacks in the nation in terms of passing yards per game. Same with Kenny Pickett. He's been playing phenomenal this year. And if both of these quarterbacks play, it's going to be a very fun and interesting game here. This is for the ACC Coastal Division lead, mind you. So if Virginia wins this game here, Pitt's going to need to hope that Virginia loses to Virginia Tech the week after. Again, lots of interesting things can still play out, but these are two very dynamic offenses, not just throwing the football, but running the football as well, something these two teams do pretty well as well. But which defense steps up? Which defense makes the bigger stops? Which defense comes away clutch? And I'm going to say I just trust Pittsburgh's defense more. I do. I trust their defense more. And I'm under the assumption that Brennan Armstrong is going to play. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, but I think Pitt maybe forces that one turnover. Probably the game's lone turnover, and that's really going to help Pitt in this game, and I think it's what helps Pitt win this game. 45-40 is my final score prediction. Again, that's under the assumption Brennan Armstrong plays. If Armstrong doesn't play, I don't think Virginia has a shot to win this game as it stands. I think Virginia has a shot. Do I like their chances? Not particularly, but this game here, I think Pitt's going to win it, lock up the ACC Coastal, and headed their way possibly to play Wake Forest in that ACC championship game. And what a game that would be. But I think Pitt wins this game here. All right, you guys know I like to give the group of 5 teams some love, right? And this is the game this week that I'm really highlighting. You could highlight UAB, UTSA too. That's going to be a pretty interesting one. But I like this matchup right here. 4 o'clock on ESPNU. Liberty is the 4.5-point favorite over Louisiana. Let's talk about Malik Willis for a second, because he's going to go in the NFL draft. He's going to be a very, very good quarterback, we hope, at the next level, right? But he's had some interception problems this year. And for Malik Willis, it seems to be 3 interceptions or no interceptions. He's had 3 games this year where he's thrown 3 picks. And it just seems like if he throws 3 picks, you're going to lose the game. And the only exception to that would be the Middle Tennessee game, but Middle Tennessee doesn't have that great of an offense. Louisiana has been playing really, really well as of late. And I'm honestly kind of shocked that the odds makers here have Liberty as the favorite, considering how good Louisiana has played in weeks past. But can the Flames slow the Cajuns' ground game? Because this is a very lethal ground game. It's been playing well, and that is going to be something Liberty is going to have to stop. And Malik Willis can't throw picks in this game. He's got to settle back and make some good throws. And let's be honest, these are 2 of the coolest names in college football, right? You got the Raging Cajuns, you got the Flames. What more can you ask for? This is going to be a very good matchup. Billy Napier versus Hugh Freeze. What more can you ask for? This one is going to be a lot of fun. But I do think Louisiana is going to pull it with this one. They've already locked up their division in the Sun Belt. They're going to the Sun Belt championship game. And I think they're going to make a statement here in this one. I think they're going to beat Liberty in Liberty here, going to fall 30-27 on their home turf. as Louisiana walks away with a pretty impressive win. Couple more here for you, just 2 more to go, and then we'll wrap it up. But Baylor, newly ranked 11th ranked team in the nation. One sec. All right, there you go. The 11th ranked team in the nation hopes to avoid the upset, and they're going to keep Big 12 championship game hopes alive against Kansas State here. Baylor still in the running for a Big 12 championship. I know, crazy, right? But with that win over Oklahoma, it is possible. Kind of a weird time to kick off, but it's a 5:30 kickoff on Fox Sports 1, and Kansas State is the 1-point favorite here in this one. And it's because of that defense. The defense statistically has played well this year for Kansas State, but they haven't faced a rushing attack quite like this one with Smith and Ebner. And again, the untested Wildcats rush defense, going to be something interesting to watch here in this one. But also, can the Wildcats offense score enough? This is an offense that has guys like Deuce Vaughn and Skylar Thompson, some really, really good players at the quarterback and running back positions, respectively. But can they score with Baylor, an offense that has played, for the most part, really, really well this year? And the only thing that concerns me about Baylor is they struggle on the road. When you look at their losses, it's been on the road against Oklahoma State. That's been one of their losses. When they also went on the road to play another team, I forget that team was. I apologize. No, they beat Iowa State. If I remember, I'll say it, but they went on the road to play Oklahoma State. Oh, on the road against TCU. There it was. On the road against TCU, on the road against Oklahoma State. They lost both the games, and they've had some road struggles this year as well. But I think in this game, Baylor settles down. They know they have a shot to get into the Big 12 championship game, and I think they're going to take it. I think they're going to grasp it and run with it, and it means that Baylor would have to win out, including a win here against Kansas State, and I think they get it. I think Baylor beats Kansas State here in this game, 26-23. I think Kansas State's rush defense kind of gets on their heels a little bit. Baylor's able to take advantage of that, and Kansas State's offense, I don't think, is going to be able to keep up, especially with the way this Baylor defense has been playing as well. The Baylor defense been playing well as well, and I think that's the difference here in this game. The Baylor defense comes up strong, and Baylor gets a 3-point win to keep their Big 12 championship hopes alive. And the last game we'll be previewing here for you is a Pac-12 title preview. More likely than not, Oregon's going to come out of the Pac-12 North, and Utah's going to come out of the Pac-12 South. But who wins battle number 1? 7:30 game on ABC. This is a prime time matchup. 3. That's the line here in favor of Utah. So 3-point favorite for the Utes. This is an interesting late season game here. Again, a Pac-12 title preview, as I've already mentioned. What to watch for in this one? Well, Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown has got to be a difference maker in this game. I've talked about it since the Ohio State game. I think Anthony Brown is a solid quarterback. Do I think he's a great quarterback? No, but he has to play like one in this game because this Utah defense is relentless. It's ruthless, and it will get back to the quarterback. But also on offense, Utah's got some good players on offense, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But this is a huge game for Oregon because if they lose this one, don't like their shots of making the college football playoff, and then chaos can happen. Maybe then we could see a 2-loss Oregon or a 2-loss Alabama, maybe a 2-loss Big 12 team in the playoff. Like, chaos can happen this year. It can happen. But Anthony Brown's got to be a difference maker in this one. Watch the rushing attacks for both these teams. Both these teams love to run the football, and both these defenses post similar numbers at defending the run as well, about 125 yards a game, give or take 5 to 10 yards. So this is a very even matchup on that front of the ball. Very interesting to watch here. And this is a huge game for the Ducks, and I think the Ducks are playing with momentum. They're starting to look like the team that beat Ohio State in week 2, and I think we see a lot more of that in this game. No discredit to Utah. I think they've had a good season. Their losses have been to some pretty good competition as well, in the likes of BYU, San Diego State, and one other. But I think Oregon wins this game, and I mean close. I mean close. 34-33 here. Oregon gets a huge road win against Utah. I think that they'll be able to keep their number 3 position as well, depending on what Ohio State, Michigan State does. But I think Oregon keeps their playoff hopes alive with a huge win against Utah on the road. And that is going to do it for my week 12 predictions. If you guys enjoyed, again, like, comment, subscribe. If there's a game that you didn't see here that you want me to talk about, leave in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to talk about it. As usual, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see you all Saturday with my Ohio State fan reaction to the huge game against Michigan State. See y'all later. Goodbye.